The funny thing about small talk is that most people treat it like the opening band at a concert, something you just have to sit through before the real show begins. We all crave those deep, meaningful conversations, the ones that make us feel understood, connected. But here's the truth. Every connection you've ever made started with small talk. Even your best friend once began with something awkward like, "So, what classes are you taking?" Yeah, not exactly poetic, but that's where it all begins. 1. Small talk isn't about words. Here's an unpopular opinion. Small talk isn't really about what you say. For the most part, it's about how you make the other person feel. You don't need to be charming, witty, or have a pocket full of jokes. All you really need is one skill: active observation. Sounds boring, maybe even nerdy, but stay with me. Active observation means you actually notice the person in front of you, not their vibe or aura, but real, tangible things. Their shirt, their drink, the way they keep glancing at the clock like they'd rather be anywhere else. It's about paying attention to what's right there, right now. 2. The secret. Make people feel seen. When you notice things and turn them into light, casual comments, something powerful happens. You make the other person feel seen. And here's the thing, people love to feel seen. Not in the deep, dramatic, "you understand my soul" kind of way, but in the simple, "hey, I noticed you exist" way. It's basic psychology. Humans crave acknowledgement. And when you give that to someone, even for 5 seconds, it changes the entire tone of the conversation. 3. The power of a simple observation. Let's say you're sitting in a coffee shop. The person next to you is holding a book. Most people would ask, "What are you reading?" Seems polite.
This is just a
right?
test.
But that question puts pressure on the other person now. They have to explain, summarize, maybe even defend their taste in books. Instead, you could say, "That book looks like it's been through some things." Boom. That's an observation, neutral but interesting. They might laugh and say, "Yeah, this is my third reread." Or, "It's awful, but I'm too stubborn to quit." Either way, you've opened the door without forcing it. 4. Make it playful, not pressured. Or, imagine you're at a party, every introvert's nightmare. Someone walks by, holding a plate of food that looks suspicious. You could ignore them. Or you could say, "Is that the chicken? It looks like it fought back." You're not demanding an answer. You're inviting one. Maybe they laugh. Maybe they roll their eyes. Maybe they even defend the chicken. Whatever happens, you've just created a moment simple, light, and human. That's the beauty of active observation. It works everywhere. Work meetings, first dates, family gatherings, you name it. And best of all, it takes the spotlight off you. You don't have to perform. You just have to notice. 5. Train your eyes, not your mouth. So how do you get better at this? You train yourself to notice details. Put your phone down. Take your headphones out. Look around like you're the main character in a detective show. What are people wearing? What are they doing with their hands? Are they fidgeting, checking the time, scrolling on their phone? Every small movement is a story waiting to be noticed. Then, practice turning those observations into short, natural comments. This is where most people overthink it. They worry about sounding weird. But here's the truth. No one cares as much as you think they do. So, when you see someone wearing a bright yellow jacket, you could just say, "That's a bold color choice. I respect it." Done. You didn't need to be clever, deep, or original. You just opened a door. 6. Learn to love silence. Now, not every observation will lead to a conversation. And that's perfectly fine. Sometimes people won't respond. Sometimes they'll give a polite smile and move on. That doesn't mean you failed. The point isn't to make everyone talk to you, it's to give people the chance to connect if they want to. If they don't, you simply move on. No awkwardness, no overthinking. The more you do this, the more natural it becomes. And before you know it, small talk stops being something you dread. It becomes something you enjoy. 7. Small talk isn't shallow. Most of us say we hate small talk because we think it's shallow. But small talk is only shallow if you are. If you're genuinely paying attention, even the simplest conversation becomes meaningful. Because you're not talking about the weather. You're talking about people, how they feel, what they notice, what makes them laugh. And when you see it that way, every boring moment is an opportunity to connect. The magic moments. Think about it. When was the last time someone genuinely noticed something about you and mentioned it in a kind, funny, or thoughtful way? Probably not recently. That's why it stands out when it happens. It feels different. It feels real. When you start doing this, you'll notice something else too. People open up faster. They relax. They drop their guard. Because for once, they're not being interviewed. They're being seen. 9. Examples that always work. Let's say you're at a Halloween party, and someone walks in wearing a tie with tiny rubber ducks on it. Most people would say, "Nice tie." You could say instead, "Okay, I need to know the story behind the ducks." You've just turned a random accessory into a fun, personal moment. Or maybe someone's coffee is topped with an absurd amount of whipped cream. You could say, "That's a lot of whipped cream for someone who doesn't look like they're celebrating." Or even, "When you see someone walking their dog, I feel like your dog silently judges people, and honestly, I respect that." It's light, it's funny, it's human, and best of all, it's real. The one rule: mean it. There's one thing: you can't fake sincerity. People can sense fake interest from a mile away. So if you're only making small talk because you think you're supposed to, it won't work. You have to genuinely care, or at least be genuinely curious about the person in front of you. And here's the secret. When you start doing this, you realize that people are fascinating, even when they're talking about boring stuff. Because the magic isn't in the topic. It's in the attention. The end. Small talk. Redefined. So the next time you're in line for coffee, or waiting for an elevator, or sitting next to someone at an event, just notice something. Make a comment. See what happens. Worst case, nothing happens. You move on with your day. Best case, you make a genuine connection. And once you get used to it, something changes. Small talk stops feeling like a chore. It becomes a game. A fun, simple, human game. Because at the end of the day, it's not about being interesting. It's about being interested. And that, my friend, is what makes you unforgettable.